Welding is tough, especially in tight and confined spaces. Before you can even start going into the pipe, there are various steps you need to take to prevent any injuries and/or damage to you or your environment. This task hazard assessment video is going to show you the steps to maintain a safe work environment while getting the job done. Step 1 is to get your confined space permit from the HSE supervisor or designate or your direct supervisor.
Hey Jim, how's it going?
Good, Mike.
I gotta go do some welding in a pipe. Do I need a confined space permit?
You do. The confined space permit outlines potential hazards and how to avoid them. Without the permit, you cannot enter a confined space.
Okay, thank you very much.
The permit includes hazards, safeguards, precautions, and any specialized PPE requirements that may be required. Air quality readings is something to look out for. Make sure you have your additional PPE for extra protection. Those include, for CCO welding, you need mandatory full face protection. For carbon steel welding, half mask with double eye protection. Welding hood, hearing protection, need double protection for gouging. Ankle harness and lanyard, FR clothing for all welding and gouging tasks in confined space. Half or full leather welding jacket for gouging. Step 2 is proper spool placement. Set up the spool or elbow on stands or on the dunnage for good support. This prevents unwanted movement. Step 3 is to blow a pipe with compressed air. This takes out airborne dust and debris. Respiratory protection is always mandatory when you're blowing air. Do not use defective air fittings and hoses. Make sure to let others around you know when you are blowing air so they can move out of the exhaust area. Step 4 is to set up fans to ventilate the pipe. Ventilating the pipe is crucial so you don't get exposed to toxic welding fumes. Set up the fan so the air flows from your feet to your head. This way has the least amount of exposure in your breathing zone. Step 5. String out and check all welding cables and lighting before going into the pipe. Be sure to do your external checks outside the pipe. Welding cables with damaged sheaths can cause cables to arc out on the pipe. Step 6 is to establish a confined space monitor. You need a monitor for all level 1 and 2 confined spaces. Your monitor needs to be trained and competent and hold a valid confined space monitor certification. The monitor is identified wearing a blue vest and carrying an air horn. You need to be in constant communication with your monitor. You can't go past 5 minutes without a check-in. Monitors also ensure proper signage is posted to the confined space. Step 7 is to conduct gas detection. If any LELs, also known as low explosive limits, or low oxygen levels are present, the work must stop. Make sure you're using calibrated and bump tested equipment. Make sure interval gas testing is completed and the readings are recorded on the permit. This should be done by an employee who holds a valid gas detection training certificate. The intervals will be on the permit. Step 8 is to safely enter the pipe with the welding equipment. Before going in, make sure you have a fire blanket secured to the pipe or elbow with a magnet to protect yourself and the equipment. Always make sure the power supplies are turned off when bringing equipment into the pipe or elbow. You must have an ankle harness and rope secured to your ankle prior to entry. Constantly check in with your monitor, verbally and visually. Step 9. Now you can start welding. Be sure to take micro breaks so you aren't stuck in awkward positions. Tools and equipment should always stay in front of you and not beside you. Never work above the 3 or 9 o'clock position of the pipe. For any overhead tasks, come out of the pipe and rotate the pipe 180 degrees to reach the opposite side. Welding is done. Step 10 is exiting the pipe. Slowly exit the pipe to avoid body strain. Make sure the power sources are turned off. Then you carefully pull the welding cables out so they don't get damaged. Remember, safety is priority 1. Follow these steps when going into confined spaces and you should be able to do the job safely and efficiently. If you have any questions, be sure to talk to your HSE supervisor.